name's Layla.
Hi, Layla.
Hi. So an author by the name of Patty Diggs stated that the shortest distance between two people is a story. So today I want to introduce you to my new friend and study buddy, Marie Samuel. So I got the pleasure of getting to know her a little bit better, so I thought I would shorten the distance between you and Marie by telling you 3 short stories about her past, her present, and her future. I know you'll enjoy getting to know her because I learned that she is a determined, involved, beautiful young woman who aspires to do great things with her life, as well as leave time for fun, family, and friends. So let me start a little bit with her past. Marie was greatly liked by all of her peers in elementary school, so she was elected class president in 6th grade. So her school was relatively new, so it lacked a lot of the amenities that the newer, older, more established schools had. So as class president, or running for class president, she promised her student body that she was going to raise enough money to buy bases for her school's kickball field. So being the determined young woman that she was, she set her goals high, she fundraised, and finally she got enough money to get the bases for her school's kickball field. So seeing her, this small thing that she accomplished during her presidency, she made her realize that she had the power to change the world as she grew older. And also seeing how happy her student body was with this small accomplishment that she did, made her realize that she could really help people in the long run. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her present. She always imagined herself walking the halls of Stanford, Duke, or even Harvard. But being here at UCLA, she really realized that this was the place for her because everything fell into place for her when she came to UCLA. She is a political science major, and she hopes on picking up a minor in accounting in her near future. As well as being studious and gaining the knowledge that UCLA has to offer her, she also has a social aspect to her academic life, and she does this by being involved with Greek life here at UCLA. So a little bit about Marie's future. She always imagined herself being a politician, but she realized that as her future approached her, that being a politician was not what she wanted. This wasn't the right path for her, and it's not what she wanted to do with her life. So she has a few options that she's considering for her future. Going to law school and becoming a lawyer is one of those options, as well as going into Homeland Security or crisis PR. Her minor in accounting will come into good use if she doesn't get into the law school that she wants to get into. She thinks that being an accountant is a secure job that she's interested in pursuing for her future. But really, all Marie wants to do is help people, whether it be through charity or catching the bad guys. And ultimately, she hopes on raising a family and watching her children grow as a stay-at-home mother. So in summary, I've told you a little bit about Marie's past, present, and future. I hope I was able to shorten the distance between you and Marie with these 3 short stories. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Marie Samuel.
Thank you. 349. They don't touch the red button. Let's start in the rear over here.
I'm Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
So I really like the way your speech flowed. I thought the intro and the conclusion, I thought it tied everything together.
Tie back was well done. You could relate to it. You remembered it. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi. I also really like the structure of the intro and the conclusion. I thought I wanted a little bit more detail on how everything fell together at UCLA.
Yeah.
So maybe that was one.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, you started off well. You promised us we were going to get 3 stories, and we got a good story about the kickball bases, and that she learned at a young age how to set goals and achieve goals and to lead. And that was a marvelous story, and I would have had a little moral at the end, a little more of a moral. When you got to the present and you made allusions to Duke and Harvard and this sort of thing, I didn't quite get all of what that was implying. But there really is a very important point that sometimes it's better to be a smaller fish in a big pond, a big fish in a little pond. You have to decide for yourself. There are a lot of people that bust their fannies to get into the perfect school and find out that that perfect school is an imperfect place for them, you know. On what you did, though, back on that point, I agree with Hannah. I would have liked you to have fleshed out in story more of what happened with the poli-sci and a story from the Greek life or something like that. The future, we learned Homeland Security or lawyer or something. We weren't quite sure. It was more of a laundry list, but that's harder to do. But overall, you got the job done. I noticed you stumbled a little when you were trying to remember all the details and facts. And I think that's where the three stories that are really concise would help you, remember it and just tell them in a concise way. But you did a nice job. Thank you.
Next.
Yeah, let's go.
Can we go next?
Yeah. You want to take over?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want to go first, or?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
Happiness depends upon ourselves. It's a very simple quote by Aristotle, and it basically says that we create our own happiness. That external forces don't really mean anything when you're positive. And I can go on about the analysis of this quote, but I'd much rather show you a guy that exemplifies this in his past, present, and future. This is Kai, and he does what he loves, and he finds happiness from it, and then he spreads it to other people through his friendliness and positivity. You're going to love getting to know him, because he's such a friendly guy, but also he's going to be famous one day. I'm going to tell you 3 stories, one from his past, one from his present, and one from his future, that really exemplify what I'm talking about. So let's flash back about 4 years ago to when Kai was in 10th grade. You know those silly physical fitness tests you had to do where there's a certain amount of exercises in a given amount of time? Well, he was on the push-up portion, and he was just breezing through them, no problem at all. So his friend's like, hey Kai, I dare you to do the clapping push-ups. And Kai's like, challenge accepted. So he starts doing them, no problem at all. So his friend goes, how about we try doing them behind your back? And Kai's like, psh, I got this. So he does one and lands it perfectly. But when he tries to do the second one, his fingers get caught behind his back and he face plants into the floor. So he's on the floor, his chin's bleeding, his conservative PE teacher's running over cussing, and what's Kai doing? He's on the floor laughing. So this just shows that even though maybe he should be upset about something, he just finds a reason to laugh. So now to the present. Kai's taking up guitar and singing. About 2 years ago, his friend taught him how to play Blackbird by the Beatles, quality song, and he was hooked. So he started practicing every day, learning new songs, eventually started writing his own songs. And about a year ago, he started singing, and he really liked how all the components came together. And recently, actually on Saturday, he played his first 25-minute set, and it went wonderfully that he has a second show coming up too. So this shows how his positivity that he gave out through his music came back and benefited him as well. Now to his future, and I find this really outstanding, is that he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life. And I'm a science major where everyone is freaking out about mapping out their life and freaking out if they don't have it mapped out. And he doesn't really know what he wants to do, which is a really refreshing point of view on this whole college experience, is just finding out what you want to do. And he's not freaking out, but he does have an interest in teaching. He thinks that's a very noble profession, and his family's been doing it for years. And he doesn't really care about money, he cares more about positively impacting a children's life. And I think that's really, really cool. And at the end of our storytelling, Kai said this, and I quote, "Happiness is the ultimate goal." To conclude, Aristotle said happiness depends upon ourselves, and I believe that these 3 stories I just told you really exemplify what that quote means. Kai has shown happiness and he's gotten positivity back from everyone he knows. And I believe that with his passion for happiness, no matter what he does, whether it's becoming a professional musical person or teaching or becoming a master of push-ups, that he's going to do great things in life.
Thank you. 325. Danielle, can you push off that button over there on the top left where it says off? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you were washing out on the film. Thank you. Okay, where are we? Somewhere in the rear here. Okay.
Hi, Vincent.
Hi, Vincent.
Vincent. And I like the fact that we told it in like a story format. It wasn't very like,
Laundry list.
yes. And I like the fact that you're smiling.
Yeah, very, very friendly, likable persona. Improvement? What's your name?
Nikki.
Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
I really liked your speech. It flowed really well, and the stories were really funny. I think one area that I was really
More clear preview. Okay. Danielle, I liked your speech. You started with Aristotle. You can never lose out with him. Happiness depends upon ourselves. You maybe even could have, used it as an extended analogy and introduced him even in the middle too. I guess what she was referring to, you talked about you were going to give 3 stories about the past, present, and future. Maybe she wanted more to get past in grade school, present, and this, and music, and future, and education, which I don't know. But let's go to your storytelling. The storytelling on push-ups was just absolutely wonderful. Great story, just enough details, and we had blood, and we had the good old PE coach running around freaking out, wondering if he was going to lose his job over this, and Kai laughing, and so that was good. That was a well-told story, so that you got that story out well. On the music story, we needed more details. What, when, where, why, how, like a newspaper woman would do. So where did he do the set? On and 25-minute set and that sort of thing. So you said also to show our support, but you give us no way to do that.
Oh, yeah, well, it's because I wrote that planning to say it on Wednesday, just before his show, but his show was on Saturday.
So it's too late for us to support it. Okay.
Well, he actually has another show coming up, though.
Okay,
I think
well,
that's kind of about the details.
there you go. On your future, they're harder to do with stories. You make some allusion to education and so forth, so that was good. And you had a good tie back to your Aristotle quote, so you did that nicely. On your speech goals, you wanted to set up a better speech goal here, introduction. Move more clearly and try not to ramble. How to go?
I think it went better than my respect speech, but I don't know, I still think I need to work on it.
Okay.
Because when I get up here, my mind's like, but my mouth's like,
Yeah. What about, how did you feel about your movement? Did you feel that you moved pretty discreetly from left to right and back to
I
center?
think it was subtle. I didn't focus on doing that. That just kind of happened as I was speaking.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it was forced.
Okay. My suggestion is practice it in practice with a live person and tell them that's one of your goals, to move a few steps this way, 5 steps to the right, and then come back to center for your 3rd point. But overall, you did a nice job. We got a good introduction to your study writing pattern. Thank you.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that up. That was a pretty gushing story.
It's not you.
Anyways, I'm Kai, and I'd like to start off with a little quote. There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. There is a rapture on the lonely shore. There is society where none intrudes, by the deep sea and music in its roar. I love not man the less, but nature more. I think that this quote by George Gordon Byron perfectly captures the essence of my study buddy. But first, a little background before we get into the stories. My study buddy, Danielle Pickering, was born and raised in Los Angeles in a very secluded area with only one neighbor within a mile of her house. I really don't know where you'd find such an area, but I'll ask her after this. Anyway, she was surrounded by the vast California wildlife and forestry since birth, and was taught to love nature by her dad. In fact, it is to this childhood spent in nature to which she attributes her current dream to be a vet. Now that we've established that, I'd like to give you a little slice of Danielle's past, present, and future. I know you'll enjoy getting to know my study buddy because her soft feminine appearance masks a very strong, refreshing personality inside. Alright, so this first story is about a crazy bet that her dad made with her when she was 8 years old. The details were he bet her $10 that she couldn't catch a racer snake. Now I know my reaction would have been, "You're damn right, Dad, I'm not trying to catch a racer snake, I'm 8 years old, it's going to eat me or something." But Danielle just jumped right in and just took the challenge. She explains to me now that $10 to an 8-year-old is worth $100 now. And with the economy and the inflation, I mean, it could be true. Anyway, let's fast forward to the day of the actual encounter. Danielle was walking on a dirt path by a road when she saw a dead snake in the middle of the road. At first, she was really sad because she'd been taught to cherish nature. But once she saw that it was a racer snake, money signs lit up in her eyes. She was like, "Wow, what an easy $10. So she walked closer and closer and closer to the snake until, boom! It suddenly snapped back to life. Danielle tells me that that was the closest that she'd been to peeing her pants since diapers. That was also the day that she learned that snakes pretend to play dead when predators come. Anyway, the couple things that I learned about Danielle during that story was that she's very courageous, and she's got a headstrong love of adventure and challenge. Now we'll fast forward to the present. Every break Danielle gets, she volunteers at a pet hospital in LA. Recently, they brought in a German Shepherd who was really sick. He had really bad skin irritations and arthritis, and he wouldn't let anyone treat him. He would wiggle away whenever they tried to grab him and stuff. That is until Danielle took the dog's head and put it on her shoulder. Turns out this dog wouldn't let anyone treat it unless it had a headrest. Talk about the real treatment. But Danielle just laughed and later remarked to me that you get all these big dogs that come in here and act tough, but inside they're just big sweethearts. And I think that's kind of like Danielle too. She likes to put on a tough mask, but inside she's just a big sweetheart. Anyway, let's fast forward to the future a bit. Danielle doesn't really believe in planning things too far ahead because you never know what life will throw at you. But she has planned up to September where she'll be visiting her best friend Mia in New York. While everyone else will be enjoying the New York architecture, Grand Central Park, not station, no one wants to see that, beautiful places in New York, she's most looking forward to hitting up McGee's with Mia. So if you guys don't know, McGee's is a pub that's modeled after McLaren's pub in How I Met Your Mother, if any of you watch that. Apparently they have specialty food items like Slapsgiving pizza, which sounds kind of painful. I don't know if I want to eat that. But I just thought it was a fitting highlight for a pretty quirky but awesome person. Anyway, in summary, I've told you about my study buddy's past, present, and future. Her past love of nature has carried on to the present, and I know it'll lead her to a great career as a veterinarian, which she wants to do in the future. So yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you my study buddy, Danielle Pickering, the woman who loves man not less, but nature more. Thank you.
Thank you. Somewhere back there.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
I love your speech, and first you were humorous and not over humorous. And secondly, I think your speech is well organized, and it's not only the tie back at the end, but also the tie back every time after you told one story. So I think it's fantastic.
Thank you, Hannah. Good
Hi,
morning.
Grandpa. I think I love his speech. I think his speech is really good and he's humorous. And although sometimes in his speeches maybe difficult for me to understand, but I can
So we need to remember we have an international audience and we need to slow down a little. I just thank you for your feedback. Well, let's talk about your speech. I enjoyed it very much. Who is George Gordon Byron?
I have no clue.
Okay. You're going to pull a quote off the internet or whatever, look them up and find out, and say author or poet, something.
Okay.
Give them credibility.
Okay.
So that we know who the quote is from. It was a very thoughtful quote, and the words were very deep and meaningful, and reflect the idea that one can gain a great peace and solace from nature, and that they were well thought out words, and I like the way you tied back to the beginning. You played out this Danielle is a mask that what we see is not really what we're getting, and you developed that theme sort of throughout, and that was fairly interesting. On your first story on your snake, racer snake, I thought it was a good story. I liked the way you moved toward your audience. You were dramatic. You got them excited and that sort of thing. What I didn't like was you didn't tell us whether the snake bit her, whether she collected her prize of $100. What was the outcome? You don't want to tease your audience and leave them hanging and not lead them to fruition of a story, and that's what you did. On the second story about the German Shepherd, I thought that was a good story, and I liked the way you tied that back to her personality, so that was well done. As for her future meeting Mia in a bar in New York, I don't know if that's all I kind of got was all she has planned so far for her future, which is I doubt what she really wants to have communicated, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe that is her future. I don't know. Your summary was good, no notes, good posture, good tone, and get some good laughs is what you wanted to do. How'd that go?
Pretty good, I think.
Yeah, you did a good job. Thank you. Hi. Are you going first?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I just start or?
Yeah. Well, let me look around. Is everyone looking? You're supposed to do the drill. If you're doing it, take one step forward. Managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel love. Start your speech. Okay, you're good.
Hello, my name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
And there was always a quote that resonated through my adolescence life. And I'm sure that is more applicable than just to my childhood. In the words of Dr. Seuss, today you are you, that is truer than true, and there is nobody alive who is youer than you. And it was in the stories and words of my buddy that these words became clearer to me. Today I want to introduce you to my new study buddy, Vincent Tran. And I know you will enjoy meeting him just like I did because of just what a genuinely nice guy he is. I know that sounds cliche, but it was within the stories and what his past, present, and future taught me and reminded me of these life lessons that I came to this conclusion. Typically, a lonely childhood can be fabricated and reinvented for, I don't know, a movie, a story, but my buddy experienced a past that is very similar to many adolescents, but it was also uniquely his. You know how we hear about siblings fighting or going on adventures, like just something that you grew up with? Some of us did not have that fortune. My buddy grew up as an only child, and it actually did take a great toll on him. It was kind of lonely, actually. From his early elementary days, he did something what many adolescents also did. He tried to fit in this mold.
And he wore the baggy pants, he wore the looser shirt, he spiked up his hair, I don't know why, but he spiked up his hair. And it was, what was it for? It was so he can rid himself of this loneliness. And it didn't go away. It was up until his early high school days that he was floating from clique to try and assimilate with these different groups that he realized, I'm not happy. And it was from this realization that he was lonely again. But he didn't give up. And it was when he found this new group of individuals that he called his friends. Actually, I know from experience that he is still friends with these people till this day. They go to school here. He lives with them. And actually, what was different this time? He knew he was happy. He didn't have to act a certain way. He didn't have to dress a certain way. And he just had to be himself. From my buddy's past, I learned that you are you. You don't have to fit in this mold. And when it comes to your happiness, you don't have to settle for anything less. A mold, you're not going to fit into that perfectly. And that's what I learned from his past. Now let's fast forward a couple years into his college career. It was the 4th week of his freshman year when he started attending this welcome week that a service organization called Circle K hosted. It was at these different Circle K events that he met various different people of all backgrounds, and there was something that was the same, and it was brighter than day. He realized that all of these people were friendlier than he could imagine. As an incoming freshman, we were all scared, and he just realized, hey, this could be my home away from home. It's 4 years now since freshman year, and he's cherished every single moment that he's become a member of this club. Actually, during his 3rd year, he had the responsibility of being something called a family head. For those that you don't know, a family head is just someone that's in charge of 30-some members in the club, kind of like their guide, their mentor. Now imagine this. I was a first year last year, so this person comes up to me and goes, I am your father. What is this Star Wars cliche? I'm just a first year, why are you being weird to me? But that's how I had the fortune of meeting my study buddy actually last year. And it's true. We were his family, figuratively and literally. He was our father who taught all the first years, because he was a 3rd year, all the ways and the ropes of this campus. And we were his children. And there's one thing I learned from being in his family last year, it's that bonds are strengthened when you are yourself. You can't hurt a relationship from just being yourself. You'll hurt it by faking it. Now, his past and his present paved his way to his future. As an only child, he grew up with the responsibilities of what he would otherwise share with his siblings. Normally in his custom, the older one would explore, leave the nest, become successful, just leave the family. And the younger one would stay back and take care of the parents. He has both responsibilities to take on. And he understands that with his financial burden, UCLA, that cost, that even now in his future graduate school, that it might take him a while to repay his parents for what they have given him. But he understands that, actually, my mistake. That doesn't deter him from his ultimate goal of providing back what his parents have given him. And that's what he taught me through his future story. That through all these years, that in his head, he wants to be the best he could be to give back to his parents the best that he could. And in the end, once he finishes pharmacy school, he knows that he can give back to his parents, as long as he remains true to himself. In summary, I have given you my buddy's past, present, and future. And what I learned was ultimately, whether you are on a search to better yourself or just working towards an end goal, as long as you are yourself, then you will get there. Thank you.
Thank you. 606.
I thought your speech was really
Sorry,
good.
your name, please.
I thought your speech was really good. It definitely was organized well. You kind of sway a little bit. It can be slightly distracting. It's just about practice. And beyond that, I thought you did really well.
Improvement?
I'm Steven.
Hi, Stephen.
I like the fact that you seem to really care about what you were saying for a lot of it. And I think there were moments when, is there a template for how I'm phrasing this?
Something you think you could do better?
Something that maybe you could do better is there were some moments where it felt like you were trying to remember what you were going to say as opposed to kind of thinking about it as you're saying it, if that makes sense. So that's
Okay, fair enough. I wrote down that you need to work on word economy, Michelle. You went way over. You were real long. And so your stories were just, you need to develop the art of editing and knowing what's going to be essential and what's too much in a story. And that's a hard thing to do. Loved your Dr. Seuss beginning. Would have liked to had a more vivid Dr. Seuss tie-back as saying, so remember what Dr. Seuss, those words that Dr. Seuss reminded us of, and say it again like that. That would have been helpful. You told us that Vincent was a nice guy, but he's an only child. And so your first story was he basically went from clique to clique or gang to gang and spiked his hair and acted crazy, and then that didn't really solve his alienation and loneliness. So that was pretty good. A little long, but you did get that story out. On the present and the Circle K, that was again a good story, but too long, and I think you could have just said found a group, and the group filled his needs of family, and he established a leadership role and was a mentor. And I like the personal touch. Now, you're in this group too, right?
Yes.
And so I like that personal. I wasn't exactly sure because you said I met him and he said I'm your father, so I just inferred that. But I guess, so that was good. So you were in Circle K too. And so that was, I like the personal touch. It was a nice coincidence that your study buddies like that. On the future, this is where you really were seemingly struggling with what you were trying to say and get out about his family. He's the younger child, he's the older child. Can he help his parents? Can he not help his parents? Does he have a high debt of college loans? I don't know. You said your goal was to be louder. I think you're getting better in that respect. I think you want to time yourself for your next speech and work on word economy and have some vocal variety in your presentation. But overall, you got the job done. It was very thorough. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vincent.
Hi, Vincent.
So fear. Not the type of fear you get from watching scary movies or horror films, but real fear. Fear that causes you to tremble and keeps you up at night. Fear that threatens your life and causes trauma. Today, I'm going to introduce my new study buddy, Michelle Dawn, and I will be telling you about her past, present, and future. And I know you will enjoy meeting her because while most people run away from their fears, Michelle has chosen to confront them. Growing up as a child, she missed out on a lot of things that a normal child would have experienced, such as waking up early Saturday morning watching Jackie Chan Adventures and Pokemon, or learning how to ride a bike. And however, the one thing that affected her the most was that no one taught her how to swim. So when you go to the beach, you sometimes find someone that doesn't know how to swim, and there's always that one person that goes, "What the heck, what's wrong with you? Why don't you know how to swim?" Michelle doesn't appreciate those type of comments and actually finds them pretty hurtful. And so when she was 8, her and a childhood friend were hanging out at a pool, and unfortunately she was drifting towards the 8-foot end, and so everything went hazy from the moment she started drowning to the moment she was saved. This was the first time she felt real fear that caused her to never want to swim again. 10 years had passed, and although she is still scared of swimming, she is slowly getting over it. Despite having limited access to a pool, she puts in the effort to learn basic techniques whenever she can. She refuses to lose to this fear and has chosen to overcome it. Presently, this is not the only obstacle that she faces. Entering high school, she fell in love with tennis. She loved playing during tennis practice, and she loved playing with her Zillis partners. Tennis became her life. And unfortunately, during senior year, she had injured her shoulder and developed something called tennis elbow. And this is due to overuse of the elbow and causes extreme pain. And because of this, she was benched for a while, and she was not able to play, of course. And she feared that she would never be able to play again. However, when she came here, she got the opportunity to play with the tennis club, and it gave her a chance to overcome her fear. So the pain was still there, however, it did not stop her from playing. And she enjoyed every single moment of it, and currently she plays every other day and even entered a tennis competition. And so tennis is her passion, and she will not let anything stop her from doing so. In the future, she plans to work in the field of pharmacy. In the past, she would help her grandmother pick up prescriptions from the pharmacy. And when she went there, she would talk to the pharmacy and talk to pharmacists and ask random questions about medicine. And because of this, she became intrigued with medicine. And she wanted to become just like them. So in the future, or in this upcoming year, she plans to study for her pharmacy technician's license, and she hopes to find work in a research lab. And so, from these milestones, she hopes to reach her end goal, which is pharmacy school. And so, secretly, she's scared of not accomplishing this. However, she is not giving up, and she will do whatever she can to reach her goal. And in summary, I've told you about my study buddies past, present, and future. And ladies and gentlemen, I give you Michelle Dunn, someone who refuses to lose to her fears and confronts them head on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Marie.
Hi, Marie.
I really liked how your speech was structured. I could tell that you practiced a lot and memorized all the really small details, and I thought it was really good.
They knew the material, didn't they? Improvement.
Hi, I'm Amber.
Hi,
This speech
Amber.
was really good, but maybe just slow down a little bit. But I thought you did a good job when you forgot for a second. You just back up and kept going.
Yeah. We have an international class, and we need to be respectful of that. It was 4 minutes, which is fine. We have an international audience which we need to be respectful of, and so you have a tendency to go really quickly, like you've just had a couple of cups of coffee, and you need to really chill and slow down and really build in that in your presentation. Maybe even take a 1 second pause in between the sections. You started off with this notion of fear and fear that causes trauma, and you talked about how she learned not to run away from her fears. So that was pretty intriguing, and you developed that with her idea of the pool and nearly drowning and not learning to swim. And it was unclear why she didn't learn to ride a bike or wasn't taught to swim. That part was a little fuzzy, why she wasn't taught these things. But nonetheless, it was a mystery that you put into your presentation. But you left it with a happy ending in your end of saying that whenever she can, she gets back to trying to learn to swim. On your second story, you told us about tennis and then tennis elbow and how she was benched And, that was pretty funny. Then just going back to the tennis club and still playing even though she's in pain because she loves it so much. That was good storytelling. So we got a good sense of her from the tennis story. Pharmacy school, pharmacy technician, wanting to be go to do pharmacy research. That was well done. I didn't see your goals here. You listed when you do fill out this self-evaluation form like you did. You just did checks. Give yourself a numerical number from 1 to 5 on how 5 being the best score you can give, and 1 because the X doesn't help us much. And anything 3 or below would be tell me is that's what you want to work on and improve on. Overall you did a nice job. You just want to work on, if you want to be more effective, you're going to have to learn to slow down. Other than that, you're fine.
Okay.
Thank you. Is that your study, Ben? Yeah, you said. I said yes. Yeah. How's our time going?
We have like 18 minutes left of these.
Yeah, we usually get to the point when we're lucky we get an hour 20.
Yeah, it was only an hour this time.
No,
I know,
goes past.
but it
Oh, it
goes
does?
past. Yeah, good. Yeah. for some
Technology,
reason.
bruh.
Yeah. So we may get an hour 20.
Oh,
if we're lucky.
it's
The batteries.
It's fine.
Yeah, ignore it.
The last time too.
lies.
Yeah.
If it cuts off, I'm good.
No. Well, we're getting a new camera one of these days. So.
One that's just right in the face.
Yeah, let's see how it's going back there. Managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi everybody, I'm Carrie.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi everybody. Now what kind of guy will take a chicken, sit down, eat it, and turn it into a cinematic extravaganza? This guy. I want to introduce everybody to my study buddy, Josh Moises. He is a 21-year-old biochemistry student from Monterey, California. And I think Josh is a really cool guy. He's very multifaceted, has a lot of different interests, and I think you'll find him as fascinating as I do. From his past as a really shy, introverted kid that learned how to play the violin, to his present days as a UCLA student and a budding filmmaker, to his future aspirations to be a pharmacist and multi-instrumentalist. I think Josh is a really good example of the fact that actions speak louder than words. And we'll start with when he was a little kid. He was super quiet. Now, he's not just a quiet kid, he was so quiet that he would talk to his students and teachers in a whisper. Always in a whisper. So whenever the class was actually doing something like reading or coloring, he would keep on the other side of the room, and teachers would always try to encourage him to become part of the group. But he was always so shy. But finally, he made a breakthrough near the end of the school year, and his teachers were really happy to put on his progress report that Josh finally said a single word out loud. The. So it actually developed from then. He actually found his voice through the violin. And he studied the violin as a kid and got so good that he eventually ended up conducting his student orchestra in front of the entire school for a live performance. So it brings us up to the present. In addition to music, Josh is also really into filmmaking as well. He created a YouTube channel in 2006 under the title Josh. You can find it as JAWSSHH. And a lot of his videos are really funny. It started out that he made videos for his friends, kind of just doing birthday greetings, personalized hi messages, which I thought was really cool because it shows that Josh takes the time to get to know his friends and really made tailored custom greetings for them. But he also found that he liked doing a lot of silly kind of videos, and he did one where he shaved just the left side of his head and went around and got reactions. He was talking about how his mom freaked out and was like, cut it. So that was really funny. And there was another video where he and a friend lip synced to Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. So they're running around town and they're doing funny things like eating tuna salad with their hands behind their back and still lip syncing, or they're in a shower behind a shower curtain, not together, but they're still lip syncing the song or planking in various locations, and it made me laugh. But the favorite video that I really like of Josh's is Josh versus Chicken. And Josh took on a challenge from his friends to eat this gigantic rotisserie chicken in one sitting. And even though they time-lapsed the video down to about 6 minutes, it took him a long time to do it, hours. He did manage to tear apart the chicken, the first half of the chicken, in about 15 minutes or so. But all he had was a jug of water, a hot sauce, and you just see him through the video sort of slumping down slowly while his friends are trying to cheer him on. It was really funny. It showed me kind of how he doesn't give up and he perseveres and he likes taking challenges. So I thought that was really cool. In addition to his filmmaking, though, Josh also plays the ukulele. And he's learned, in addition to violin, guitar, piano. He really likes the ukulele, though, and he made a lot of friends in the past few years in his dorm rooms, just kind of playing in his dorm room. He plays a lot of Ed Sheeran and David Guetta. I'm sure he would be really thrilled that I'm telling you this, that his first song that he learned was Justin Bieber's Baby. Good job, man. God love the Biebs. What he plans to try to learn in the future is Japanese flute and drums. And that actually does take us to the future. He is a pharmaceuticals student in the future, hopefully. He really wants to be a pharmacist. He's currently doing a lot of applications. He's going to do a lot of traveling. He'd like to stay in California and be a student at either Western University, UC San Francisco, UC San Diego, I think, and USC as well. So he would, like I said, he would really love to learn how to play more instruments and get more in tune with that and make more films as well. So I've showed you how Josh has sort of progressed in the past as the class whisperer, to a current YouTube guru, to a future pharmaceutical pioneer. And I think it proves that Josh is, he's the kind, he doesn't look like it, but he is the kind of guy that can tear apart half a chicken in 15 minutes. So it's always the quiet ones that you have to watch out. Thank you.
Okay, where are we? Hi.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hey, Jacqueline.
I really like your speech. I think you looked really comfortable out there, and everything flowed really well. I like that you remembered a lot of details, and it was really good storytelling. And I could tell you watched the videos and you were really invested in it.
Yeah, that shows going the extra 9 yards, doesn't it? Because you could have just interviewed him and written a few things down as he did and just had a few facts and let it go at that. So she went the extra 9 yards and watched the video. Yes.
Hi, I'm Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
I don't think you had much to improve on, but maybe for the sake of saying something, I guess not walk around too much and sway a lot.
Yeah, you do pacing,
I pace a lot.
And we'd like you to.
I know, I'm like.
We'd like you to stand and deliver. Yeah, she's got the carpal tunnel syndrome.
Sorry about that.
Just kidding. Carrie, let's talk about, you started with a rotisserie chicken, you talked about it in the middle, and then you tied back to that. That was fine. Your preview was okay. You crammed in a lot of information in your overview, so you gave us a lot that we knew we were going to have to deal with. On the early part, your first story of the beginning, I like the story of him not talking and whispering, and sort of mimicking him, and that was good, and him saying the as his first word. And I like the idea that you gave the story a problem and a solution, and then he found the violin and found a way to express himself musically through another language, music language, and communicate his emotions that way. And so that was a good story. On the present, it was a mishmash of a million things, and I would have liked a little better organizational thing there. You were just all over the place. You went to YouTube, and then back to the chicken, and then the math class, and the ukulele, and I don't know. I would have liked to have had that a little better organized and into some kind of story. But they were all kind of compelling. They were interesting. So that was good. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, he is. And then you're finally the future, the pharmacy was, it's hard to do future, we grant that. And then your summary, your conclusion, and tie back were fine. Your goal is to be concise and to not waver from the topic. Do you feel that you do that a lot, or?
Yes, I do waver.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to go in circles, but I always get back to where I was, but only after a really long time.
Yeah, I think that we saw that a little bit in not the past, but the present. I think that was a little rambly there, and so just your big goal next time should be on the pacing. But you're a very likable speaker, and you talked without notes, so you were fine. So you did a nice job. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Josh.
Hi Josh.
Okay, so I'm sure all of you have heard the term triple threat before, and that means someone that is skilled in 3 areas. So for example, someone that's a singer, actor, and a dancer. But it's less common that you run into a quadruple threat. So I would like to introduce you to Carrie, and she is not a quadruple threat. She's actually a quintuple threat. So, hi. She is an actor, a singer, producer, writer, and a student. So I will tell you 3 stories from the past, present, and future, and hopefully you all get a sense of how these stories shape her life as a whole. So I think you will enjoy meeting Carrie because even though she has a very busy lifestyle, she loves everything she does, and I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have any other way. So, for the past, I will tell you about the actor aspect of this quintuple threat. Voice actor, to be specific. So, when Carrie was little, she has been known as sort of a mimic. She has this talent for changing her voice. And her dad took notice of it one day. So her dad actually owns an advertisement industry agency. And through him, Carrie became involved in doing voiceovers for radio ads. So for example, if they needed a child voice to say a line like, "That's great, Mom," Carrie's voice would be the voice you would hear on the radio. So through her dad, that's how Carrie started her voice acting career, and she still has it today. So for the present, I would like to tell you about the producer and writer aspect. So Carrie has a production company. It's called Vanilla Mountain Films. And right now, she has produced this idea of a show called My Neighborhood. And what the show is, it's a comedy about this man who comes from a small town. He moves to a big city, and with the tenants in his apartment, he tries to bring them together into one close community, but they are really unwilling to. And hijinks ensue, a lot of shenanigans, and you have a comedy show. So Carrie isn't necessarily an actor in the show, but she played a major role in coming up with the idea. She played a good role in producing the show, putting it together, finding all the actors, and right now TV companies, so like ABC and such, and in hopes that she would get a deal from one of them to hopefully turn it into an actual show. So that's one of Carrie's passions, writing and producing shows. So hopefully, as she tries to sell the show to a bunch of companies, that you will someday see my neighborhood on TV. So with that, I would like to go into my future story, which is Carrie the student. And let's see. So Carrie transferred to UCLA from LA Valley College, and that's a community college. So she's working on getting her degree in communication studies and anthropology, where she plans to pursue her master's and eventually become a professor. So in particular, she wants to be a professor at a community college because, well, she came from one, and without LA Valley College, she probably wouldn't be here today. So one of her passions also is teaching, and she would like to become a professor at community college just to give back, and she really believes that community college is a fantastic way for anyone to start their educational career. So, in conclusion, I've told you 3 stories. I've told you her past, present, and future. I've told you about Carrie the actor, Carrie the producer and writer, and Carrie the student that aspires to be a professor. The only thing I left out is that she's a singer in a band called the LA Hit Squad. And actually last weekend she had a gig. But if you want to hear that story, I suggest you go meet her and ask her yourself. So I would like to present you with Carrie. Not a triple threat, not a quadruple threat, but a quintuple threat.
Hello, I'm Sky.
Hi, Sky.
That speech is very interesting, and actually I cannot fully understand what you say, but your stories give me quite different views of your study buddies and